When you are in your 50s and in good shape, people seem to notice it more than when you are fit in your 20s. I think it is because there is a gap between your age and your appearance. You do not look young exactly, but you look different from what people expect. I sometimes feel that at work. I am in my early 50s now. I have gray in my hair, lines around my eyes, and I definitely do not look like a young man. But my posture has changed. My shirts fit better around the shoulders. My belt is 2 holes tighter than it used to be. I can take the stairs without losing my breath, and I no longer collapse into my chair by late afternoon. Most people at work do not comment on those things. In an office, people usually keep a polite distance. Even if someone loses weight, changes their hairstyle, or looks a little healthier, coworkers often pretend not to notice. So I assumed nobody was paying attention to me either. Then one afternoon, while I was waiting by the copier, a woman in her 20s from another department spoke to me. "Have you changed something recently?" she asked. At first, I was not even sure she was talking to me. "Me?" I said. "Yes, you seem different. Your posture is better, and your suit looks sharper somehow." It was just a casual comment. I knew that. She was not flirting with me, and I did not want to read too much into it. She was simply making small talk in the office. Still, the words stayed with me. When I was in my 20s, women my own age hardly noticed me at all. I was not hated. I was not treated badly. I was just forgettable. At parties, I usually sat near the edge of the group and laughed at other people's jokes. At work, I kept my head down and tried not to take up too much space. I had no confidence in my body, my clothes, or the way I carried myself. If there was a woman I wanted to talk to, I usually talked myself out of it before I even started. I assumed the conversation would die, so of course it did. When you believe you are not worth noticing, that belief shows in your face, your shoulders, and even the way you stand. I began strength training near the end of my 40s. It was not a dramatic decision. One morning I looked at myself in the restroom mirror at work. My shirt looked tight around my stomach. My neck was pushed forward. My shoulders were rounded. I looked tired, but more than that, I looked like I had given up on myself. That night I went home and did push-ups on the floor. I could barely do 10. My legs shook during squats. A 30-second plank felt like a punishment. Some evenings after a long day at work, the last thing I wanted to do was exercise, but I kept showing up, quietly and imperfectly. I did not buy expensive equipment. I did not announce a big transformation. I simply tried to do one more rep than last time, or move a little better than the week before. Strength training became part of my daily life. After a year or two, my body changed. Not dramatically, but clearly. I moved more easily. I stood straighter in meetings. I chose the stairs without thinking. My clothes did not have to hide me anymore. And then, in my 50s, a woman in her 20s noticed. Again, it was not romantic. It was not some movie-like moment. It was a small workplace conversation next to a copier. But for someone who had felt invisible in his 20s, it meant something. It made me realize that attention in later life can feel different. When a young person is fit, people may assume it comes with youth. But when someone in their 50s looks strong, steady, and well put together, people sense the effort behind it. They see discipline. They see consistency. They see a person who has not stopped taking care of himself. Maybe what stands out is not the muscle itself. Maybe what stands out is the time behind it. A few days later, another young coworker looked at me before a meeting and said, "Did you get a new suit?" "No," I said. "Same suit." "Really? It looks better on you now." I smiled and thanked her. She probably forgot the conversation 5 minutes later, but I did not. The younger version of me would never have believed it. He would have thought it was too late. He would have thought that if women did not notice him in his 20s, they never would. But life is not always that simple. You may miss your first chance, but that does not mean you are out of chances. You may spend years feeling invisible, but that does not mean you have to stay that way. Sometimes confidence arrives late. Sometimes your body becomes a record of the choices you finally decided to make. I still have gray hair. I still have wrinkles. I am not trying to look 25, and I know I never will, but I stand taller than I used to. I walk into the office with my head up. I no longer feel like I need to disappear. I do not train just to be noticed, but when someone does notice, I think of the young man I used to be. I want to tell him, you are not finished. You are not invisible forever. Start now, and someday people will see the difference. But clearly stood straighter without thinking. Felt invisible meant something. Later life comes with youth, well put together. The effort behind it, not stop taking care of himself. What stands out, same suit, would never have believed it. Too late, out of chances, stay that way. Arrives late, the record of the choices, head up, need to disappear, just to be noticed. Not invisible forever, see the difference.